Boys is getting quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through, 4-4, steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it, cause we gotta finish. Nebraska Horn Hustlers, man, we diminished. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends.
All right. Welcome into what is going to be another amazing episode of FullbackU. Man, I call a lot of people my older brother, but a guy that really helped mold me, man. Really thankful for Jimmy Wilkerson. Jimmy Wilk, how you feeling, my dog?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Glad to be on here.
Man, just real quick, just tell me how you got to OU. I wanted to know, I never really, I say you molded me, but I never really got to hear your story. We went to the camp over with Ricky Brady, and so I got to hear a little bit of your story, but just let everybody know, man, how you got there.
Man, it was kind of weird because, growing up in a small town, guys like us, no one ever went to Division I, college football. Nobody ever went to college, period. A lot of guys most of the time ran the streets or just, tried to find a 9-to-5 job, around town. So my travels to college was kind of rough for me. I grew up in a household where there was a lot of drugs and alcohol, family members arguing with each other and things like that. And, my frustration actually turned me on to football.
Real.
And, I wanted to do something to release this frustration that I had built up inside of me, and no other sport was doing it for me. And so when I got into football, I wasn't even expecting to go to college. I was just using it as an escape. And my junior year, I got really good, and I was like, man, I get letters from everybody, and I said, you know what, maybe I can make something out of it. So my senior year, we balled out, and I got offers from everywhere. My choices was Arkansas and OU. And the reason I got to OU, because I verbally committed to Arkansas. And my mom, she sat down one night, looked at the graduation rates on both colleges, and she says, "You're going to OU."
Wow.
I said, "Why?" She said the graduation rate for black men is higher at OU than it is in Arkansas.
Salute to her.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, there you go. I'm in OU.
Man. Well, that's what's up. Well, man, you end up going to get a natty ring, and playing there. Jimmy, by the time I got there, you were a cold killer, bro. You may not have thought that about yourself, but yeah. I'll go into my experience against y'all, but just let me know what it was like when you got there.
When I got there, man, I was this guy. I was 220 at the time, and I got around those guys. I'm like, man, these are giants. I've never seen guys like this before.
How I felt about you.
Yeah, I was a little intimidated, man. And the one thing that helped me was continuing to play with that anger that I played with in high school, and to really understand my value, my worth, and what I could do out there on the field. I knew I was fast. I competed against a lot of my cousins throughout my whole year. And if you're not fast, if you're not, one of the top guys, then you're not going to amount to anything. So I had that in me. I also had that strong will of my mother, of not to be denied, determined, and to keep pushing forward when things got rough. And when I was out there with Coach Venables, at the linebacker crew, out there with Teddy Lehman and all those guys. It was tough. It was tough competing with those guys because, their talent level was through the roof. First of all, watching Torrance Marshall, learning from that guy, I mean, it gave me a sense of hope that I belong there. And then when we got to the national championship, they set me down and said, hey, we know that you're fast. We know that you're young. We want to use your talents in a different position. We want you to play defensive end. I was like, I never played that before. Never put my hand down in the dirt ever. And I said, okay, we'll see what happens. He said, what we want you to do is we're going to line you up on the strong side. We want you to rush. That's all we want you to do. I said, okay. So I got to play my second half of the game, and I hit Chris Winkie a few times. I'm like, man, this is where it's at, man. So that's what got my career started for me.
That's what's up. Well, fans may wonder what you're doing in the car. You're being dedicated dad. If you want to expand on that,
yeah,
you can. Your son's a really good football player too. He's not going to tell you that, and I know you're humble and not going to say it, but he's a tall kid. He can play pretty much any position from what I've seen. So you can let them know how they're doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's one of the things that I really love to do. I love to be a part of my kids, their journey and their sports. And one thing that people need to know about me is I never push my talents on my own kids. I never brag or boast about those things or tell them, hey, I was this, I was that, because I want them to have their own experience. I want them to lead, go down their own road and their own journey. And if they ask for help, then I'm gonna give my advice. So he's doing it real big in football. I got three sons, by the way. So
okay.
Three sons, one daughter, and they're all in the sports and doing amazing. And he's a starting goalie on the top team here in Oklahoma. And he is just straight balling out. He's having fun. He's a kid that just loves to be around sports, period. It doesn't matter what it is. He reminds me of me when I was a kid that just loved to go out there and compete. When a kid challenges you, he doesn't back down. And that's what I love about him, so he's here in Dallas, and he had a really good test yesterday against a really good top team here in Dallas. The top team in Dallas brought two young guys from MLS youth group to come down and win the game for them, and he shut them down, man. I mean, I'm really proud of him.
Man, that's awesome. I wanted to expand on how you helped mold me, and when I first got to OU during two-a-days, I wasn't even getting any reps, and I talked to everybody, and you can expand, you laugh, but I mean, it was so deep there, man. It was just the practice. Yeah. You just came to watch. I mean, so there was 3 or 4 fullbacks in front of me. I mean, I finally get some scout team reps. I never really got to go against Jimmy Wilk, and I started building up, and I think I had probably about a week and a half into camp. Had a really good scrimmage. They started putting me in on short yardage goal line, and Coach Hayes was like, you cannot mess up. You mess up, your ass is going back scout team. So I was hitting the linebackers a lot, doing that, and I was blocking really well. And, man, I go to kick out Jimmy Wilk on power, and I promise you I don't even touch him. And I'm just like, I turn around to Coach Hayes, and he's like, and I'm expecting him to, like, yell at me. And I'm like, and he goes, well, that's Jimmy. So, and I'm like, oh, phew. Oh. So, but no, man, you really helped me in the sense of, you just had the savviness of, the thinking ahead. Obviously, the Division I game, I obviously wasn't going to run you over, but it was, hey, the next defensive end, you better not let him cut inside. And when you think he's going to cut inside, he can still make that double move. He can triple move. He can come back on you and spin. I mean, there were so many things that Jimmy Wilk had in his arsenal. Was that always the case, or did you build up to that?
It really wasn't. For me, it was just my goal was not to get beat. That was my goal. So whatever I had in my toolbox, everybody got their own little tools, I would go to, So if it's a run game, if I get beat on the first try, I'm going to pull out another tool and try something different, So, and I think that's what helped mold me to be the person that I was and have the career that I had. Going up against guys like you, it helped me really become a man in a sense, because even though that I had a father, I didn't really have that father figure in my house, so I use football and you guys as a way to grow up, if that makes any sense.
Man,
so
absolutely.
Yeah, so when situations like that happens, I'm so used to being in a negative situation, and I can work my way out of it. So it kind of became easy for me.
It was a bunch of dogs. It was a bunch of people that was just rough, and you couldn't throw us out of there. I hated the workouts, Jimmy, but I wasn't gonna leave, dog. I mean, you couldn't.
Right.
I was addicted, like you said. Shit, what else am I gonna do? I mean, I'm used to fighting my whole life. I'm used to just playing football and being rough and tough and trying to, just impress people. I wanted to get your thoughts. Okay, we talked about how different it was back then. Laugh. I want to get your thoughts on the team, but I want to get your thoughts on your decision, because that could have been an easy conversation with Bob Stoops back then. What was that like? Just let me know how that combo went, if you don't mind.
My decision to come to OU instead of Arkansas?
No. Well, you can talk about that one, but also leaving early.
Oh man. That was a weird situation. My junior year, my wife and I got married. A lot of people don't know that we got married in between 2 days, to be quite honest. And so I was trying to start a family and things like that. And so these thoughts was coming into my head. I had goals coming out of high school. And one of my goals was to play 3 years in college and then make it to the NFL. A lot of people don't know that either. But at the same time, I wanted to play 4 years because I was there with my dog, Tommy Harris. I mean, you talk about talent through the roof. I mean, this guy, he made me feel like I was a freshman coming in again, But there were some things going on, with myself that I felt like I needed to go. I felt like it was time, and I was having a really good season. Did really good against Texas as always.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really good game against Washington State in the Rose Bowl. And then, I said, it's time. It's time for me to go. Now, Coach Stoops, I met with him, and obviously, he's like that father. He's like, I think you're making a bad decision.
Yeah. 10 years, 15 years later, Bob. What?
Right. And what's so crazy about it? When I left, my mother-in-law was, my father-in-law would call me and say, "Hey, man, they're talking about you on the radio, about all these juniors that leave early and the decisions that they made. And they said that you made a bad decision." I'm like, what? I'm in the NFL right now.
Right.
So, year goes by, same thing. Hey, they're talking about you on the radio again. It went on for like that for about 6 years that my name was brought up. Okay. And finally, I said, you know what? I'm going to call him. And I called him. And I said, you know what? I made the decision for me. I'm very successful in the NFL right now. No other, a lot of juniors can't say that.
Really?
And when I told him my side of the story, everything changed. And so, yeah.
People can take what they want from that story and think that Jimmy was selfish and blah, 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 blah. But let me just tell you, as a guy who was working his way through the NFL, Jimmy was the type of guy that was picking me up from the hotel and taking me to the game and helping me out even when he's got a family. I mean, hell, this dude was literally, when I say molding and when I say looking up to people, I mean, this dude was saving me money, saving me. I don't know where to go in Tampa. I mean, I didn't know anything. So, I mean, I appreciate you, but I want to get your thoughts too. What was the NFL like, man? What was the NFL like for you? I mean, you ended up, playing longer than just about anybody we know.
Yeah, well, for me, the one thing that I kept in mind, even when I played in high school, middle school, all the way up to NFL is the football is just a kids game, and I kept that in mind. And the one thing that kept me in the game longer than most is I played like I was a kid. I didn't worry about the money. I didn't worry about the stats. I didn't have any stats goals. I didn't have any, I wanted to get the biggest contracts and things like that. I didn't have any of those goals. My goals were to go out there and be the best me that I can possibly be. And if I can do that and be consistent at it, then the money and everything that comes with it is going to be there. And, I've had a really, successful career. A couple of 2-sack games. I sacked Donovan McNabb 3 times in a game. A lot of people don't know that. It doesn't really get mentioned. I sacked Aaron Rodgers twice. That doesn't get mentioned. So, I have my stats, but the stats don't define who I am. I was the guy that wanted to go out there and have fun. It didn't matter who it was across the field, across the ball from me. I was going to go out there and have fun and go out there and compete to my best. And at the same time, to gain friendship, that's what I loved about football. It was a brotherhood. There was guys that you may have fought in training camp, but at the end of the day, they're going to have you back no matter what.
Always. Well, a couple more questions. I know we interrupting your kids' soccer games and things like that. So, man, we can't be doing that. But does Jimmy Wilkins catch? Do we get to catch every game and let everybody know what you're up to now?
Right. I mean, I've been catching some games. I've been trying to keep up with our Sooners. That's always going to be a part of my heart. Because they got me where I needed to go, and I'm really excited about this season, man. Seeing the offense growing. Which I knew that they would, and finally seeing us playing some really good defense. That's been a long time in the waiting. I really think since 2004 is when we had a pretty a decent defense. So I don't define our team by the record, or by where they're ranked. I still think that OU is the best one. It's the best team in the Big 12. Even better than OSU, even though that they're, ranked higher than us, that doesn't matter when the time comes. We know that OU is going to do what it needs to be done to get the win.
That's real. Can you end it with a funny Schmitty or Bobby Jack story?
Oh, man. I'll go Bobby Jack. It was crazy. It was winter conditioning. And, I think it was my freshman or sophomore year. I can't remember, but, you know how it is. Every coach has a station, and, you're going through those stations. And I'm dog tired, man. I am like sucking wind. I'm trying to use whatever I have left in the tank. And so we jog down there to, Coach Ship's drills. And before we get started, I'm just so tired, man. I bent over, and he's like, Jimmy, stand up. So I stand up. I take a deep breath. I go back down to my knees. Jimmy, if you don't stand up, I'll punch you in your chest. I stood back up again. I'm thinking, nah, this man ain't gonna punch me in the chest, man. This is college, man. So I go back down. Man, next thing I know, I lift my head up, and I see him walking up. I stand up, and he just, boom, right in the chest. I'm like, before I could even react, everybody's on me. But then what was so crazy about it was I forgot that I was even tired anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I had more rounds in it. But, things like that, that right there, it stayed with me my whole career, man, to just seeing his face and all it was just him trying to push me to be the best person I could be. Don't show weakness. And that's what I tell my kids, even when you're tired, man, don't show them that you're tired, let them know that, hey, I'm going to be here for the long haul. So you better get ready.
It's real.
So, even things like that, you learn a valuable lesson.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky you're a big guy that can run. So you probably don't have as many nightmares about Schmitty as I do. So that's a good thing for you. So just be blessed,
I will
bro.
tell you this, though. College, if anybody knows Smitty, when he does his workouts, it's totally different than the NFL. I came back after my rookie year. I said, go give me a good workout in with Smitty. I go in through the warm ups. We're doing the hurdles and all this stuff, and I'm like, man, this ain't right, man. So after the warm up, you know, he let him get water. I said, hey man, I'm gonna go inside and hit the gym, hit the weight room. And then, so, you know, I went inside and I'm just watching him.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm so glad I'm not in college anymore because it was rough. And then, you know, seeing him, you know, putting his daughter through a lot of those drills, I'm like, yep, that's Smitty. You gotta love him.
Hey, just so you know, I mean, so the fans know, you got to do the math. You just said it. Your rookie year, that was the highest scoring offense. I think that was our best team. That team you just mentioned, I think that was our one. You know, and I don't think you guys got enough credit. Your junior year, the year you left. I mean, we played some dang good games, man. I mean, we played some very, very close games. We shouldn't have lost down to A&M. You know, I think the Jay White injury might have cost y'all another. There's no might. It probably cost y'all another chance at a natty.
Oh, exactly.
That year. I mean, also the Big 12 is just not the same it used to be, man. I mean, we could go.
It's not.
So that's tough. It's tough to see, man. But Jimmy, man, thank you so much for your time, bro. The fans are gonna love this. We'll have to get back on, do a little reunion pod, get you and a few guys on, man. Shoot the crap, see what we got going on.
Yeah.
So, man, but I appreciate you, man, and tell you something. What's up for me, and don't be blasting me in Fortnite whenever I jump in his room or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Tell him let me win a few. Let me win a few, man. If I'm running away, you know, let me find a gun first. You know, give me a chance.
I tell you what, man. I tell you what, you were an inspiration to him. You know, I know he didn't tell you this, and I forgot to mention this to you, but you were an inspiration to him when he got to meet you at that camp, man. So I really appreciate that. You know, you being the person that you are, taking the time out and you know, getting around my son and just letting him feel, you know, another side of, you know, what it is to be a professional. So I really appreciate that.
No doubt, brother. Hey, man, anything I can do for you, you already know. So I appreciate what you've done for me, man. I hope we can link our sons up someday. I need to borrow some of your son's athleticism and donate it to my son. You know, my son's working on jump ball. We ain't got the hand-eye coordination like your son does. So I don't know, man. We got to do something, bro. So, but no, man. Appreciate you, Jimmy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, appreciate it.
Another great episode of FullbackU.